It doesn't make sense, but anyway. It's a solid mass, is what I meant to say. Oh, that was really good. The cinnamon and the apple in your mouth is just like an explosion of flavour. It is so good. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Beauty's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis, and in today's video I want to share with you how to make a really delicious baked apple and cinnamon protein porridge. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make a really delicious baked apple and cinnamon protein porridge. So this recipe, as with lots of my recipes, is really easy to do, and I think this is a really delicious breakfast to have, especially at this time of year. The weather is starting to get colder again, although I don't think we've really had much of a summer, to be honest, but anyway, the weather is starting to get colder, and it's that time of year when you want to start adding warming foods back into your diet. Warming foods, I think, help us deal with the cold, so I definitely like to start adding the warming foods back in, and breakfast is a great way to get warming foods back into my body. So what I have done is I've laid out all of my ingredients, and I'm just going to blend everything together. So the first thing I've got is 2 ripe bananas. These are very ripe. I normally don't have them this ripe, but they got left in the bowl and they are very ripe, so they'll probably be really nice in this dish. Very sweet, I should imagine. So I'm just going to add these to the food processor. I am using food processor for this. You could use a blender as well if you wanted to. The last ones I made in a blender, and they were delicious that way, but I've actually discovered that I prefer using the food processor. It just leaves the food a little bit more chunky. There's a little bit more bite to the food, so that's why I like using this food processor instead now. So in this bowl here I have about 30 grams of cashew nuts. I have about 90 grams of porridge oats. These are gluten-free porridge oats because I have a slight gluten intolerance, so I always like to use gluten-free oats. And then I also have about 30 grams of almond protein powder as well. Actually, sorry, that's about 60 grams. I'm making this as if it serves 2, so I've doubled up on all the ingredients. And then in this bowl here I have about 10 grams of chia seeds, 10 grams of flaxseed, 10 grams of hemp seed, and 10 grams of pumpkin seed as well, and I'm just going to add those in. And then I'm going to add the cinnamon as well. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon of ground sweet cinnamon. If you don't like cinnamon, then you don't have to use it. Personally, I love it, so I always add a load of ground sweet cinnamon to lots of my breakfasts. And then I'm also going to add some coconut water. I'm going to add about 200 ml, which I think is about half of this little bottle here, this little carton. So I'm just going to add that. And the apple I will add tomorrow. To stop it from going brown, I'll chop it up on the day and add it in when I want to cook it. But now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend all of these ingredients together. I've blended all of these ingredients together until they are smooth-ish. As I said, I don't mind this being a little bit chunky in places because it gives it a bit of extra bite, and I quite like that. But if you wanted it smoother than this, then you could always use a blender. I have a Tefal blender in the cupboard, and that tends to make everything really smooth. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour this mixture into the base of the tin. So I have pre-lined a baking loaf tin here, and I have put some greaseproof paper in. So I oiled the bottom of the tin, then I added the greaseproof paper, then I just gave the greaseproof paper a little bit of oil so things don't get stuck to the greaseproof paper. And I'm just putting all of the mixture from the blender, from the food processor cup, into the loaf tin. You could use like a high-sided baking tray if you wanted to, or if you're only making this for one person, then obviously you'll need to use something slightly smaller than this. If you have a smaller like tin in your cupboard, then you can always use that as well. So I've added all of that mixture, and I'm just going to make sure that's evenly spread across the base like so. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this into the fridge overnight. Now I like to put this in the fridge overnight because it helps with the digestive enzymes. Porridge doesn't actually digest too well in human bodies, but if you soak it overnight it tends to digest easier. So that's why I always like to soak it overnight. And then in the morning I will preheat the oven and I will bake this off. But as I said, I'm off to put this into the fridge overnight. It's the next day now and I'm just about to put the porridge into the oven. So what I've done is I've preheated my oven to about 200 degrees. And while the oven was preheating, I sliced and diced up an apple. So I sliced it in half and then in quarters. I took the core out and then I just simply sliced it into small pieces. And I've mixed that into the porridge. So once I diced a whole apple, I mixed it into the porridge. And I'm now going to put this into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until the porridge goes a lovely golden brown colour. As you can see, this is a lovely golden brown colour, and the skewer is coming out clean-ish, which is perfect. It's just the way we want it. So I'm going to take this out of the oven now, leave it to cool, and then I will try some and let you know how it tastes. But right now, believe me, it smells so good in here. As promised, I'm going to try a little bit of this now, and as I said earlier, it smells really good, I have to say. So yes, I'm just going to try a little bit and I'll let you know how it tastes. I'm going to have a little bit of the porridge and some of the apple. So it looks like that on the inside. It's slightly soft, but it's sort of solid as well, if you know what I mean. It doesn't make sense, but anyway. It's a solid mass, is what I meant to say. Oh, that was really good. The cinnamon and the apple in your mouth is just like an explosion of flavour. It is so good. So yes, I'm really looking forward to having this for my breakfast this morning. That's how you make my delicious baked apple and cinnamon protein porridge, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be having this for my breakfast this morning, and it smells and tastes so good, I can't wait. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And please feel free to leave any comments below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.